The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. Board of Directors meetings and committee meetings are open to the public, but not public meetings. All school district residents that wish to make public comment should sign in prior to the start of the meeting and request to speak during citizens' participation. School district residents wishing to speak to the board shall only do so during citizens' participation section of the meeting. Board will not tolerate public outbursts, disruptions, and will not tolerate comments made outside the citizens' participation portion of the meeting. Public comment is welcome, and all issues will be referred to the appropriate board, committee, or administrator. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be made available by contacting the business office. If everyone would please take a moment to silence your cell phones and electronic devices. Everyone is accounted for except for Michelle, which is excused. Kenny is absent, but he is on the phone. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start with notices and communications. Jeff?
So this evening we're starting our rotation of buildings to do presentations monthly at our board meetings, and we have Mr. Wells, who's going to present what has been happening at James Gettys lately.
Good evening. Good evening. Got a short presentation here. Get it started here.
Pardon me, Mr. Wells. Could we dim the lights that are close to the screens? Thank you.
So first of all, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be able to come to you tonight and talk to you about our school. We're so proud of James Gettys, the staff and the students there, and we look forward to this opportunity since we started doing this last year to come and present a little bit about our school and talk to you more about that. Last year we spent a good portion of our time, our short time with you, talking about our PBIS efforts, the Warrior Way, those types of things. This year we're going to talk about a few other topics, and I brought some individuals with me here in the crowd that are going to help us present and show off our school. So tonight I want to just talk to you about, first of all, again, thank you for that opportunity to come share with you. We're going to talk about our new staff and the collaboration efforts that go on at James Gettys. That's what I'm going to highlight for you, because there's a lot going on with different committees and things at our school that our teachers and staff are involved with that really impact student learning and really make James Gettys a special place to be. So I'm going to highlight that for you. And then I have our CKLA, our reading program, curriculum that we just adopted last year. It's the first full year of implementation, and that's new to everybody. So we've had a full year to go through it now, and I have Mrs. Roy, our kindergarten teacher, who's going to come up and present and share with you a little bit about the culminating activities that we do as a school there at James Gettys. And then finally, 4th and 5th grade departmentalization is new for the whole district, and we're excited about that at James Gettys. We've got some students who really want to review that with all of you and talk to you about what they like about that program. So we have in the audience Jacob Hiller, Hope Roy, and Nora Spinks, 3 of our 5th graders. So first of all, some of the latest news out of James Gettys. As you know, we went through the renovations, and I want to thank the board for undertaking those renovations for the school. It's much appreciated. We got in right before school started, but the new lighting, heating, air conditioning it makes a noticeable difference. If you haven't been over to the building, please take a look over there. Come on over. You're welcome anytime. But the heating and the air conditioning makes the rooms more regulated. It's not so hot in one room and cold in another. It's much better than before. The lighting's a big improvement. The new PA system is a big improvement of what we had before. So it's much appreciated, and I want to thank the board for undertaking that renovation. New this year, we have new staff with our New Story classroom, that collaboration with the New Story program. It is a autistic support classroom. Currently has 6 kindergarten students in it, but can house up to 8 students. So the staff at New Story, we welcome Mrs. Stanton, Mrs. Mars, and Mrs. Myers this year. New on staff for us in the Gettysburg School District, teaching fifth grade was Mr. Groover. Mrs. Kopic, she's with all three buildings as our gifted support teacher. Mrs. Flickinger came to us from over, she's been with the Gettysburg School District, but came from Franklin, and she's over at our building this year and teaching fourth grade. Mrs. Adams, is our PM custodian, and Mrs. Settle is new to our cafeteria. So we always like to acknowledge those folks and new to our staff. My piece, when we're talking about collaboration and why I'm so proud of James Geddes, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And one of the big things where people came together and really, I was really proud of was what we undertook as far as getting ready for the renovations and then getting ready for the school year. So the staff spent a lot of time packing up the building and then preparing the room and unpacking at the last minute when the building was turned over to us. So I want to thank the amazing district and custodial staff, maintenance staff, and tech staff for their efforts, because it all came together. And if you don't recall that, or you don't know that, myself and my secretary were housed in the basement here during the summer. So we were anxious to get back over there, as teachers always are. They're a dedicated group, and James Geddes is a very dedicated group, and wanted to get in and get the rooms ready. And we held them off to the very last minute. And when it was time to get in, they really did an amazing job getting things ready. So it was a team effort and a district effort, and it's a testimony to the staff that we have here in the school, but also in the district. At James Geddes, our reading specialists, our EL teachers, our learning support teachers work collaboratively with the grade level teachers to get benchmark Acadians testings complete and schedule needed interventions based on student needs. So that's up. That testing is complete. They've already had several meetings and continue to have meetings with teachers. They continue to tweak their schedules and see how are they going to get in small groups. The reading specialists work with the teachers how they can do small groups within their class when they're not there. So that's a really close collaboration that goes along with those specialists, as well as our district coach, and Jess Spinks, who used to be a former James Geddes teacher, who is now back in that instructional coach position. So she's working with our staff as well, and getting those intervention groups and that working together to make the year get off to a good start. New student back to school nights were held the first days of schools. Those are behind us now. It's amazing how we hit the gas running, and then we're starting to click off the things. That's complete. All these things come up. We have our first, kindergarten has our first field trip this week, so things are just going quickly. We work collaboratively with our ESTEP team, our CST, our children's support team, and our PBS teams. Those teachers serve in capacities other than just their grade level team. They volunteer for these different committees, and they put in extra time getting those committees and the work of those committees off the ground. So I appreciate their efforts, and it's just a way that, like I said, it's behind the scenes. No one sees that, but those committees and the things that they do really support our students and our staff and our school. PTO is very active, and they had their first fundraiser of the year. It was a mum sale, so we're appreciative of their efforts. We've got a really supportive parent group and staff, or parent group, so I really appreciate their efforts. And recently, our students went through what's called the PBIS expectations stations. That's when students go around the building and they learn how to be an amazing warrior, those hashtags of be here, be involved, be committed, and be kind. They go around to all the different stations throughout the building. I teach the station of how to be an amazing warrior on the bus, but we have staff that teach them how to be amazing warriors when they're in the cafeteria, when they're in their classroom, when they're in the halls, when they're out on the playground. So everyone pulls together, and we pull all staff together to get those stations and put those into place. So that was just completed last week. So I say our students, staff, and parents are amazing. I truly, truly do believe that. At this time, I'd like Mrs. Roy to come up and talk to you more about those culminating activities within the Amplify or CKLA program.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Wells. Good evening, everybody. Hi. Last school year, James Geddes began the CKLA program for students' reading comprehension, vocabulary, language, and writing. As many of you know, CKLA stands for Content Knowledge Language Arts. Teachers work to learn brand new subject matter to apply in their lessons. In each unit, students read either fiction or nonfiction materials on a social studies or science topic or a literary genre, such as nursery rhymes, poetry, or fables. Students respond to their reading verbally in kindergarten through the beginning of grade 1 and in written form in grades 1 through 5. James Geddes teachers actively engage students in this content through many lesson styles such as dramatic representation, STEM activities, and model creation. Students experience the joy of learning through reading. Tonight we want to share with you a few of the culminating activities teachers created and implemented at the end of each CKLA unit. After studying a particular subject for several weeks, students' knowledge is applied through hands-on experiences. Through these experiences, students realize that all learning is connected. In kindergarten, we studied the colonial time period. Through the reading, students learned what life was like on a farm and in a town. Professions like farming, tailoring, and blacksmithing were highlighted. For our culminating activity, Michelle Sanchez, one of our kindergarten paraprofessionals, brought in colonial period pieces. She dressed herself and one of our assistants in colonial garments. To demonstrate colonist daily life, Mrs. Sanchez created a mock household for our students. She furnished the household with a lantern, bread bowls, and sheep's wool spun into yarn. She even created a blacksmith shop to visit. For the history of the Earth unit in grade 1, a real paleontologist visited with the children. He brought in a real T-Rex tooth. As you can imagine, that was very exciting. He also brought a sensory bin of dirt with fossils and shark teeth for the students to explore. In astronomy, students created the phases of the moon using Oreo cookies and popsicle sticks. Cream was rearranged in open-face Oreos to exemplify different moon phases. Look at that smile. After studying fables, STEM stations were created to challenge the students. In The Milkmaid's Tale, the milkmaid spills the milk from the pail she carries on her head. Students created inventions to prevent milk from spilling out of Dixie cup pails. If the milk spilled, students persevered to solve the problem within their design and change it. At the end of the human body unit, students traced a first grader's body on large paper and then used string, construction paper, and other art media to demonstrate their knowledge of the 5 body systems. For the Human Body Systems unit in grade 3, teachers invited the Adams County Technical Institute Allied Health class for a doctor day. ACTI students practiced their skills with the students and inspired them to learn more about the human body. Students even had their own medical charts, and there's someone, that tall person there I think I recognize, that's our Mr. Wells there behind that mask. He got in on the action to help 3rd grade. In sight and sound, students learned all about light, reflection, refraction, shadows, and sound waves. For the culminating activities, students experienced a glow day in which they created shadow drawings with flashlights using objects of their choice. They also experimented with vibrations by dancing to different types of music. At the end of the animal classification unit, students dressed up in animal masks for a Wild About Animals Day. Students used these masks to classify themselves into groups based on their different attributes. In the Viking Ages unit, students learned through journeying on a Viking quest. They sailed across the ocean to a new land and learned about Viking discoveries. Students created longboats, shields, and Nordic necklaces. In the Classic Tales unit, 3rd grade teachers invited their buddy classes from kindergarten for a Mad Hatter tea party. Fairy tales were on the menu. 3rd graders read classic fairy tales to their kindergarten buddies, inspiring the kindergartners to become readers. Teachers made some of the characters come alive by dressing up and acting the parts. I think they look fabulous. In the 4th grade geology unit, teachers taught about rock types, the rock cycle, and how rocks shape our Earth. Students cracked open geodes as a hands-on learning experience. For Eureka, the Students Inventors Unit, teachers took on the role of famous inventors such as Thomas Edison and George Washington Carver. As judges in a contest, they challenged students to take an everyday item and make it better. Students applied their knowledge of simple machines learned in this unit into their designs. They drafted blueprints before building their designs, and in front of the judges, students justified their design decisions. In the Middle Ages unit, students learned about medieval times, knights, and castles. Applying their knowledge of castle rooms, students were challenged in a STEM castle activity. Students also took on the character of knights, creating props and jousting. Finally, fourth grade students wrote their own poems after studying different elements of poetry, such as stanzas, alliteration, rhyme, and rhythm. Students participated in a poetry slam and supported one another with snaps for their peers. All year long, families are connected to their children's CKLA experiences in the classroom. Using the Seesaw platform, teachers share pictures such as these with families. The learning even continues at home as students are asked about these activities by their family members and share more about them. James Geddes teachers are really proud to provide our students with such amazing learning experiences. And now I'd like to introduce 3 of our 5th grade students, Jacob Hiller, Hope Roy, and Norris Spinks, who are going to come up and talk about the benefits of 4th and 5th grade departmentalization.
One thing I like about switching classes is having different groups of students. I also like getting to see all 3 teachers every day. I also like moving around and not sitting all day.
Thank you, Jacob.
I liked how it prepares you for middle school and how it keeps you focused, because if you sit in a class too long, you might zone out, and then you have a chance to make new friends with the new groups.
I love how if we have classes with friends, even if you're not in your homeroom. For example, me, Hope, and Jacob have some classes with each other, even though we're not all in the same homeroom. And I like if you don't love just one of your subjects, you have other classes with different ones, and the teachers have different personalities, which I really like. Probably my favorite part is we get to sit with anyone in our grade at lunch, not by class. In previous years, we only had to sit with our class, which is very nice that we get to sit with anyone.
Thank you so much for letting us share this evening.
So again, our departmentalizing is the kids switch for, one teacher has science and writing, one has CKLA block, and one has math. So it's again in 4th and 5th grade. So nice job, kids. Thank you. Here at James Geddes, we say we're the home of the amazing warriors, where amazing things happen. We are proud of our parents who regularly support our school, students, and staff. We're proud of our staff who regularly collaborate to provide needed supports and interventions. And we are proud of our students who strive daily to do their best. And I'm proud to say prove to us numerous times a day that they're truly amazing warriors. Our staff and students welcome you to come visit our school, visit our classrooms to learn more about what we do each day and what makes James Geddes very special. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you tonight.
Yep, Mr. Wells, thank you very much on behalf of the board, and thank you, Jacob, Hope, and Nora, for sharing your experiences with the board as well, and thank you, Mrs. Roy. Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
Thank you, Mike. I also would like to say a big thank you, Mrs. Roy and Jacob, Hope, Nora, Principal Wells, for sharing this evening. Compared to what we've traditionally done, this departmentalization is a pretty big change from what we have historically done. Kids did a great job of sharing from their perspective. Principal Wells, just again, for those that might be listening online or whatever, would you agree that this, one of the other major advantages from an instructional delivery standpoint from our teachers, and Mrs. Roy, maybe you would want to chime in, the teachers can become really much more of an expert in their subject areas that they're teaching, since they're not teaching such a wide range of subject areas. Was that the major impetus behind moving to this departmentalization over what we've traditionally done, or were there some other aspects that you were thinking that would be an advantage?
I can say that was a big part of it, yes. And like you said, they can become experts. We put so much on teachers' plates, so many different new curricular pieces that come into play. But by able to focus on one subject area, that really gives them time to devote and really become experts in those fields. It also goes consistency between with one teacher teaching that subject of all the kids, so that all the fifth graders have that same delivery, that same exposure to that subject from that teacher. So it's that consistency in instruction. It also gives us opportunities to do some unique things as far as interventions and scheduling those interventions by having that block scheduling. And that was something we didn't have before. So obviously this helps with those reading specialists pushing into the classrooms or pulling out for wind time or other collaborations of interventions. By doing that, we hope that we can better meet our students' needs. And this is the first year of doing it, so we'll see. But I'm excited at the prospects of it. I know our staff really embraced it, not only in James Geddes, but the other buildings as well. We're really looking forward to that chance to departmentalize. So we've got high hopes for it.
Very good. Thank you. And I have two grandkids that are in the James Geddes Elementary. They're both having an amazing experience, so I just want to thank you all for that. That certainly means a lot, and wish you well. And then finally, board members, I don't know if you remember the email that we got inviting us to be part of literacy nights that are coming up at all three elementaries, and I would just encourage you to volunteer for that if you can squeeze that into your schedules. So the reading specialists and the PTO, I think, are really doing they've really stepped up their efforts to connect us with the community, which is fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. Dickerson, I have something very quick, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I want to thank you as well for sharing that, and particularly just pretty neat, Mr. Wells, that your theme of collaboration is showing not just in students' experiences, right? Collaborating with peers in different places, which is really neat. I think the structure allows for that, which is cool, right? You know, it's coming at all angles that a structure allows for collaboration. And also from the teacher's perspective, that's neat too, that it's coming in the curriculum, kind of just surrounding it from all sides, right? Is awesome to see different culminating projects that involve peers in younger grade levels. I think that's a big benefit to a K-5 school. So thanks for sharing those details and for sharing tonight.
All right, so moving on. Mr. Nett, I don't believe we have any citizens' participation, correct? No. All right, so moving on to routine approvals. I had a request to separate several, so we're just going to take each of them individually. So 5.1 of the agenda, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so are there any questions on the agenda? All right, hearing none, roll call. Cindy?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Kenny? Yes. Kenny votes yes, and I vote yes. 5.2, the financial report. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
I saw him at the corner of my eye.
All right, so hearing none, roll call. Al?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Jeremy?
I'm going to abstain, Mr. President. My wife owns a business being paid by the district.
Okay. Ryan?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Cindy?
No.
Kenny?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 5.3, so that's the approval for Jacoby transportation drivers.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on 5.3? Hearing none. Tim?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Kenny votes yes, and I vote yes as well. Motion passes. 5.4, human resources recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on 5.4?
Not a question, but a comment. there are times when you can reward people that have been with your institution or organization for quite some time and who have done a great job. So I would like to, on behalf of the board, congratulate Krista Kaywood for becoming our new middle school principal, and just say that it's well-deserved, and looking forward to the job that she's going to do there in moving our middle school forward. Congratulations.
Are there any additional questions or comments on 5.4? All right, hearing none, roll call. Jeremy,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Cindy,
No.
Al,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Kenny. Kenny votes yes, and I vote yes. Motion passes.
Congratulations, Kristen.
Yep, congratulations. All right, so there are no items for board action this evening, so we're going to move on to information items. Our first one is 7.1, Policy 801, Public Records. Does anyone have any questions on 7.1? All right, hearing none. 7.2 is Policy 903, Public Participation at Board Meetings. Does anyone have any questions or comments on Policy 903?
Not a question, but a quick comment, and thank you to Lee for helping us out at our policy committee meeting recently. There's some pretty significant items that have been recommended to us to make sure that we're in compliance with all the regulations and whatnot, and it was very helpful to have Lee explain the rationale behind that at our policy meeting, so thank you for that.
Thank you. And the last one is 7.3, Policy 006, regarding board meetings. Do I have any questions or comments on Policy 006? All right, so hearing none, we'll move on to board committee reports. Just real quick, the board did meet last week. Policy committee met last Tuesday at the administration building here at 4 p.m. And that's what we brought, those 3 policies for the first read tonight. And just a reminder, the policy committee meets the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. in the administration building. So any other committee reports this evening? Okay. Program reports.
Just simply a calendar reminder that this Friday there's a professional development day for teachers, so no school for any students K-12. Thanks.
All right.
Mr. Dickerson, I have a few things, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Belinda.
So I'd just like to report out to the board, first of all, the Facility Finance Committee meeting is canceled for this Thursday, just so the public is aware of that. Secondly, PMC second month of operations, the revenue that is on the district's behalf is $1,500. So to date, we've earned slightly over $4,000. Also, for the next meeting, I wanted to advise that it'll be on the agenda to have action for the bid opening for Franklin Township Elementary Window Program. We did bid opening on September 9th, but however, we are going to propose to reject to rebid for September 9th. And so just wanted to make sure that I updated the board that we're going to be bringing that forward at the next meeting as for action to do so. And then secondly, also on the next agenda, we'll be providing information to the board in terms of PSBA elections. So Region 3, our board will need to propose folks to take the positions after the conference level, which is President-elect, Vice President, and PSBA insurance trustees for Region 3. So that'll be up and coming on the next agenda. That's everything.
Thank you, Belinda. Anything else on program reports? No? Okay, so calendar of board events. Our next board meeting will be held on October 7th here at 7 p.m. in the administration room. And that's it. So could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
The meeting is adjourned.